This has been Strictly Ball Business.
Strictly ball business.
Strictly ball business.
I like that video.
Nah, shit.
The Blazers are off to a very hot start. I'm happy about it. I like the Blazers. I think they're a cool bunch of guys, some cool cats. But they finally have Dame back. It shows. They get a guy like Jeremy Grant, I don't think they've ever really had a guy like him before. And then Anthony Simons, not as good as CJ, but he doesn't need to be because he's an off-ball type guy. What's working with this team? What do you like about it? Why are they winning so much?
Yeah, they got a lot working for them so far. It's been fun to see. Firstly, Damian Lillard is back. He's had a couple of 40-point games this season, and he's shooting the three super well right now. So that's the biggest reason for why they're winning. I just love to see him playing this way. Secondly, I think Shaedon Sharpe's looking pretty good, but Anthony Simons, man, I mean, he looks amazing. He just can light it up. He's just so consistent, and I think overall this is a player whose ceiling seems to just keep growing each time you see him play. He's even added like a post hook shot almost going into the lane. So this guy's adding to his bag each year, and I think gonna continue to see this guy grow. And then lastly, reason for their success, their role players, Jeremy Grant, one of the ones they added, he's just such a great catch and shoot player. Like, I didn't realize that when he catches the ball, he'll catch it like up high and he doesn't bring it back down. He still keeps it up. He goes right up with it. And just to be able to do that is pretty elite.
Yeah, I mean, so this is the difference between the Jazz and this team is where I look at their stats and I'm like, these are definitely sustainable stats. They're just winning games. Well, I think the wins will go down. Yeah. I don't think they can. I don't think the other teams will play as bad as they did rather than them play as good as they did. Whereas the Jazz, I thought they were just playing better, and that's not going to sustain. I think their level of play, the Blazers' level of play is going to stay. Their just opponents is going to get better. However, I mean, they beat the Suns, they beat the Lakers, they beat the Kings, and the Heat, but they just lost to the Heat. So, I think that's fine. Dame's on fire. You said it. 31 points per game. That might be sustainable. I mean, if he does, he might if they can get up to a 4th seed, you think he gets MVP considerations? If the Blazers get to a 4th seed?
I think he could be in the talks if the Blazers have a great season for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I think people's expectations on the team was very low coming into the season. A lot of people didn't even have them making the playoffs. So if they can finish with top 4, top 3 seed, definitely think MVP is the likelihood.
Oh yeah, for sure. You said it. Simons, he's doing pretty well. I mean, he's shooting pretty inefficient. I think his numbers are going to go up. I think he's going to get a little more efficient. I think that'll get there. Grant, he's hanging around 15 points per game. I think he'll stay the same. I think he's filling his role. I think he's happy doing what he's doing, playing defense next to Nurkic. Nurkic, whatever. He's going to be Nurkic. He's going to do the same thing. Most of their offense, though, which is a little worrisome for me, just comes from their backcourt. Simons and Lillard. Most of all their shots come from them. Granted, it's not bad, but it's the same problem they've run into year after year, where one of them gets hurt or one of them has a bad game. That's kind of it. Like, they're putting all their weight on one leg, and if that leg goes out, and it's the same thing they've done for years and years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's always a possibility, though, if the night's not working for either of those guys, that Jeremy Grant could step up, or maybe at some point after Shaedon Sharpe gets some games under his belt, that he'll turn into a guy that can give you some buckets. So I don't know if we can see the full picture for the Blazers quite yet in that regard.
No, we haven't. And they very well. I'm hoping that's what they do. Where if they see them struggling in the first half, where they're like, all right, let's give more possessions to Hart. Let's give more possessions to Grant and Sharpe. Hart's been playing great defense, by the way. He's been a great all-around player. I think he's doing awesome. But yeah, I hope that's what they fall to. But as of right now, is what I'm saying is it looks very similar to what they have done in the past. Same possessions and everything, where it all falls in them. I'm hoping none of them have had bad games. So they've had good, even the loss to the Heat, everyone was still having a good game for the most part. However, Lillard is playing a lot off ball now, and it's really interesting to see because you see him take those deep threes because no one goes out there off ball to guard him like that. And it's almost unbeatable to have a guy like Ant like that, or Josh Hart's doing a lot of the ball handling too. So, but I'd like to see more like offensive aggression from Grant and Hart too, where a lot of it is just, I mean, it's built around playing through their stars and Simons and Lillard. But I still would like to see Grant take those shots, take those extra shots, be a that's actual scoring option. And I'd like to see Hart get more into that too, especially there's going to be games Lillard's not playing 82 games this year, and Simons isn't playing 82 games this year. So I think you should lean on Hart when you can and see, all right, man, let's see what you can do as a scorer. Let's put it out. Or obviously Shaedon Sharpe, as you mentioned, they should go out for him a lot. I think that would be a really, really nice to do. But when Lillard's hot, why not? Like he is right now, just that's fine. I get it. Feed him the ball. He's hot. Feed the hot man.
Yeah. Overall, they could implement more passing into the system just to try and get some of those other guys looks that are within rhythm rather than, I don't love the idea of forcing the ball to Josh Hart or Shaedon Sharpe, but elevating them to a spot where they can get open with multiple passes is maybe a better idea.
Well, I mean, it's not forcing the ball. Obviously, they'd write up plays for both of them, and they because most of the plays they have are just for Simons and Lillard, which, as it is, they're the two best scorers on the team. I'm just saying, like, write more plays, or like when they're winning, just have the coach come back and be like, all right, and when Lillard and Ant sits, I'm like, just leave Hart out there. Let him run the offense for a bit. Let him get into that comfortable scoring position. Let him get going and expand on his game because he gets better on offense. Before there was a point where when he was with the Lakers where they're like, oh yeah, he's just not a factor shooting, and he's gotten a lot better shooting where you can't just leave him open anymore. So he shows improvement. So I figure you might as well, when you have time, feed it. Same thing for Shaedon Sharpe. Get some development out there.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get that, man. Certainly think they got to make an effort to get everyone comfortable within the offense so that, if you do need them, you're not relying on just those two guys every time. So totally get what you're saying. You got to keep everyone involved, got to keep them engaged. Otherwise, they might get worse on offense if you're not giving them enough looks, to be honest.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, you let somebody get cold, they're just going to be cold. You got to get everyone touches the ball.
All right, strictly ball business. We went so hard for you, so you leave a comment on the tube.